Well, I tell you something, Ger. If we were to give away anything, we're giving away, I want to say BLT, but it's not a BLT, but it definitely has a nice little toothpick with a flag stuck in it. Giving it away free of charge today on a bonus episode.
You know what we're giving away, Tom? We are giving away, and like, spoiler alert, we're giving away a ham sandwich, so we are. But don't fancy up a ham sandwich, Tom. A ham sandwich on its own is the king of sandwiches.
It's true, and there's a lot to be said for various types of ham. I know you're going to get your smoked and your German, but you know what? An old bit of hang from a Sunday roast, or at Christmas time, when you get the owl hang the mother would make and you cut off an old slice of cow stuff, that's a nice hang sandwich.
I think you're still being a bit fancy from me, Tom. I'm gonna sacrilege. I'm gonna have a slice of sliced ham. Give us a quarter pound of ham there, a sliced pan, and a thick scraping of butter. And that's the ham sandwich for me. In fact, we're coming fresh off our Death Row Dining episode, and thank you everybody for all the lovely comments that you made about that. I made a mistake. I'd like to add a ham sandwich to mine.
Yeah, do you know what? You're 100% right. It's well worth saying, and that's what a nice little segue into talking to people. Anybody who's just jumped on board for the ham sandwich episode. Of course, we do have regular and much longer episodes. These are just purely bonuses that come out on a Thursday. But well-known folk want to share their horror stories with us because we've shared enough of them down through the years. On
Hells yes.
Seasons 1 through to 5. Season 6 kicked off 2 weeks ago with first of the Fred Dibna, second of the Fred Dibna, and now we have a last meal dining one that just came out. So thank you all very much. We have them, would you believe it, Ger? We actually have them in the waiting room. We have them in the waiting room. Should we bring them in and introduce these lovely people to everybody?
Yeah, but before we go in, like real quick, Tom, before we go in, because you got me talking about like genuine ham sandwiches, not the absolute kick-ass rock band ham sandwich that are waiting in the green room. But if I'm having ham sandwiches, I'm having them cut in triangles, right?
Yeah.
From a death row meal, cut in triangles, and ideally served at a wake.
Well, it'll be your wake.
It'll be my wake. Yeah,
it'll be your wake. But that was for
imagine
last
how good.
episode.
Imagine how good them sandwiches would taste.
Oh Jesus Christ! And in saying that, please continue to tell us what your ones would be.
Oh, there's been some crackers coming in.
There's been a couple of crackers. Keep telling us what your ones would be. But today is your bonus episode, and we'll of course have a full episode out again next week. But if you would please sit back and enjoy the fantastic ham sandwich. Well, we're delighted to have the duo of Ham Sandwich on board. And at least, I mean, we did your intro already and we just couldn't resist it. We started immediately going into our favourite sandwiches. And that top of the pile was actually the ham sandwich. And there was no dicking about with it. So you're very welcome, Niamh and Podge. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much for having us.
Not at all. We're looking forward to hear about your worst gig ever. I know it wasn't the gig I seen you play, which was supporting Electric Six in, I want to say, The Village?
The Village, yeah.
12 years ago?
Oh my God, no way.
There you go. I was up from the country to see a concert and it was yous. And
oh my God. I actually remember before that.
Dick Valentine, isn't it?
That's right, yes.
I actually remember before that gig, I'm nearly sure it was the Electric Six gig. We were, kind of new to supporting big bands. And we showed up with no drum kit.
Oh yeah,
it was. Gig? We showed up with no drum kit, thinking we could just use Electric Six's drum kit.
Of course, of course.
And the promoter was like, "Are you having a laugh? Like, you need to bring your own stuff." And we were so embarrassed. Oh my God!
Where did you run and get a fucking drum? Of all the yokes, you could have left behind a mandolin. You could have left behind a tin whistle. You left behind the biggest bit of gear.
I know. Yeah, I know. I don't know why we thought that. We were relatively new to supporting big bands, I think, and we just assumed we could use it.
That was so long ago. Like, we were up to all sorts of shambolic crap. Because I remember that gig, Niamh, I'm pretty certain you drew like a pretend 3-piece suit on. Like, I just went topless for that gig, but I had you draw in like a permanent marker, like a suit. And I was talking to Dick Valentine after our gig. He was on the balcony. The village balcony, and I was like back into regular clothes or whatever, and he just like, all he really said to me was like, "That was a pretty sharp suit, dude," or something like that.
That's class.
Oh, deadly.
But you see what you did?
Wonderful.
You were able to reach to cultures in Monaghan with a name like Hang. Well, Jerry would have driven there telling everybody he was going to see Hamsandwich.
Yeah.
You know, I was if I wasn't the target audience, Tom, who the fuck was? That's just one gig in your illustrious long running career, and they can't all have been marches to victories that are fondly remembered by Monaghan stand-up comedians some 13 years later.
No,
absolutely.
No.
So come on, make us feel good about ourselves.
I'm like, I actually don't know where to start.
Like I have 20 nights of sheer agonizing pain.
We should probably start, if we start at the beginning, Podge, right? And the Voodoo Lounge, and one of our first gigs we did in the Voodoo Lounge. Remember the Voodoo Lounge?
Yeah.
And Podge wrapped himself in like a big bit of toilet paper, his whole body in toilet paper, and walked from the back of the venue to the front of the venue, making sure everybody stopped and looked at him, like walking up like a mummy. And we're all standing like real awkwardly on stage, like wait for Podge to finish his bit. Like,
now you hadn't made them aware that you were going to wrap yourself in Andrek's finest, did you, Podge?
See, our budget wouldn't have been very big at the time, so I had to be creative and like get free costumes and stuff like from the jacks.
And for clarification for our fine listeners, was this Halloween?
No.
This was Tuesday, Jerry.
I remember believe it or not, I remember the exact date of our first gig. It was August 18th.
No way.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, it's just you've just gone by the anniversary of it there.
And I think it was 2003. Cheapers.
For the audio listeners there, Podge, a moment just came across Podge's face just there. He went, "Oh Jesus, right, okay, well that's the right." Because in all our heads, we still think it's 2006. Like,
you know what absolutely. I mean?
Yeah, we're all going skiing, lads. After this will be great.
I think the funny thing with us is we kind of got away with an awful lot, because I think from day one we painted a certain picture of non-professionalism in our gigs. So it was only up until a point where we started to actually kind of try and be professionals. That's when things can kind of really drastically go wrong. So for years we were kind of just having the crack, and if it was a shit gig, it was nearly all the better for it.
Right. But at any point though, surely you must be looking at each other mid-gig going, Christ. You know what I mean? What? Who signed us up to this shit now? What's after happening here?
This is getting away from us, lads.
Yeah. We played in a place, was it a place called No Place Like Dome once? And our van got stuck in the mud after the gig, and we had to go and catch a ferry, didn't we? Or wasn't that No Place Like Dome?
I don't know.
I can't remember.
Podge was clicking his heels together for that one. I think he was.
We should tell them about Fantastival, maybe.
Yeah, well, I think unfortunately the worst one by, I'd say, quite a long mile. I had to obviously be involved, but it was I don't know what the band were really thinking, but genuinely it only would have taken one, I reckon, to sort of start a ruse, and I was out. Like, it was that bad.
You're setting it up nicely here now, Podge. Come on.
I genuinely woke up the next day in my van on my own at a festival, like sitting in the driver's seat, and I woke up in the driver's seat and I was like, that could be me. I reckon they're genuinely that could be it. Because it was, I don't know, there was a lot of stuff that happened. I don't know, everyone I think has one of those kind of nights where you could drink something that you'd be normally like just regular drunk on, but you know, you just have one of those nights of the year that you go completely
absent,
mindless. Absent is the exact word.
Yeah.
Like, my eyes were glazed over, but basically everything I planned to do that day kind of got, whatever the word is, I ended up anyway getting too carried away with a couple of Niamh's friends actually, in a cool little marquee, and they were like, kept handing me all this drink, like random drink. I didn't question it, I just drank it, And there wasn't a lot of it now, in fairness, and I thought I was being somewhat responsible, and it was kind of, I think someone else had this as well. I think I was looking at a documentary on Tin Lizzy, and one of the guys said he was so out of it. But I remember like strumming the first one or two bits on the guitar on the first song, and it was only a strum, and I was like, I can't even do that. From the second I started, I knew I was absolutely fucked. So I tried to just compensate by going wild, and that didn't work because I was too wild, like way too wild. And I was climbing like this pole that was in the tent, and there was loads of like big wire, but I wasn't thinking logically. I was like, oh, deadly, I can do like a kind of a sort of like, you know, the way you'd have your legs on top of the wire in the hand.
Right. Military style, okay, yeah.
Idea. And I can't remember exactly what happened, but I know that the wires were attached to the sound desk. So the entire sound desk was pulling towards me as I was
Fuck me.
It was really bad. Like, and then I fell on top of like some kid or something in the crowd.
I think you might have kicked a kid in the head.
Yeah, it was like, and that was only about 1/5 of the shock and stuff that happened. I think I randomly threw a bottle at one of the band members, like not in anger, but just like stupidity, and that was nearly it. There was nearly a walk off. Like, I think, Niamh, you held the shit because there was literally a walk off, and you were like, please, he's the idiot, please don't join him.
What I remember is I was late to the gig because I was coming from Dublin. So I got down just, you know, half an hour before the gig was starting, and I remember walking into the little tent, and like, as Podge said, like, you know, when you look at somebody and their eyes are just whoop gone, and they're gone, like they're just gone.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh my God, he is absolutely hammered. Like, he's really hammered. So we were like, right, we got on stage anyway, and yeah, Podge was just like jumping all over the place, and I think you flashed Ollie, our drummer at the time. Yeah,
I don't know why.
We were trying to flash.
It's a beautiful part of the story. Just that didn't even need to be there. I was entertained already, and then you flashed your drummer. Class. Like, and what was going through your head, Niamh, through this going?
Yeah, Niamh. While Podge is over here climbing like up a cable like a sloth, what are you doing?
Trying to just distract and trying to just sing and like do the music, and also like I was looking at Darcy, and like Darcy was looking more and more pissed off as the gig went on, and I would be going over and in his ear going, he's just really drunk, it's grand, just keep going, like, and actually like to stop him just walking off the stage, I was like, it's grand, like I'm trying to hold it together. Like, we can get through it, like it's fine, do you know what I mean? But it was I'm going
to tell you, Tom, these rock stars, I'll tell you one thing, anytime they come on My Worst Gig Ever, they give us a bonus drunkest I've ever been as well.
Oh yeah.
But it's funny.
Throw one in for free.
Lots of things happened after that. So basically, during the gig, like, I wouldn't condone it. Genuinely, it was embarrassing. Like, I wouldn't mind if it was harmless, but like there was kind of a bit of a dickiness as well. Like, so it was just not a pleasant gig. Like, I was acting the dick, like, totally.
How do you butter that one up the next day? Like what was that phone call, or lads?
We were lucky. Well, sorry, I was lucky in a way because we had a string of gigs that weekend. I think that was one of at least two more. So there was 2 or 3 more gigs, and I knew that if they knew from my face I was like deeply ashamed. So I kind of didn't really have to say anything. They didn't say anything. And so basically I was like, if I just play phenomenally well for the next 2 gigs and just like be as sheepish as possible, hopefully they'll be, you know, they'll kind of go, right, look, that's your kind of strike one sort of thing. And I think that's kind of what happened. But basically the crowd were doing like loads of random things, which is funny. So like I'd say at least half the crowd didn't even notice a thing, which is mental, because like they were doing congas and all sorts of stuff. But then the next morning, like I said, I woke up and I was already dying of the fear. And this random hippie-ish looking guy came up to me at a fence, and he was like, "Great gig last night, man." And then he started getting really aggro at me. But there was no need to swear. Why were you cursing? There was no need.
I love that was his issue, nothing to do with the flashing, the climbing, the kicking the kid in the face. But
Paul and the sound desk down.
Your language was way out of fucking line. Like, what's going on now?
Yeah.
There's kids there. Like, come on. Like, where else would you get like a job like that where you go, okay, well, we're at work this evening at 8:00. I'll just have one more drop of petrol and see what happens, my system.
Yeah.
I mean, still go to work.
Like we've all been drunk, don't get me wrong, but like, it's rarely that you'd get drunk and also then have to go do work or fulfill a commitment.
We actually started, I think after that, I think I'm right, Podge, in saying that you started marking the bottles of Buckfast after that gig. to like literally like a black marker line, and it'd be like, right, you only drink down to the top of the label before a gig, and then you can have the rest after the gig.
Yeah, that's it. Like, yeah. See how you get on with that.
I guarantee you, Podge, when you went back to the gang, everyone, while they were forgiving and stuff like that, I could look at his face, every one of them went, thank fuck that wasn't me, because I would have done that too if I was partying in the middle of the day, because you were with Niamh's friends, and I guarantee you Niamh would have fallen into that trap too had you gotten
Absolutely.
there.
Yeah.
I mean, like, Niamh's friends have some of the blame here.
Yeah.
I can't remember who. You probably do know Niamh.
Was it the lads from Carrick?
Yeah. I was having too good of a time with those guys, like about 5 hours before the gig, which is...
People from Carrick
What I tell you about lads from Carrick Macross.
Yeah.
What I tell you.
I live here now. I'm trouble now. I'm trouble.
You live in Carrick, do you?
I do, yeah.
Get out of town. Okay, I'll have a crack with you off the air about that. I'm not going to expose your home address now in the middle of everything. There you go. All right, guys. So that's a gig. We're going to call that like a self-inflicted worst gig ever, or rather, we call that like a Podge-inflicted worst gig ever.
Yeah.
Let's get a gig from you guys where it's venue based. Like, where'd you land where it's just like dodge as fuck, clientele are looking like they're gonna kick off, anything like that? Any stories?
Not
like
sure.
that?
There might be a check at the end of it, or we might lose the van. The van may not make it through this.
We played on the back of a truck in Kells once.
Lovely.
That'll work.
Which those kind of the back of the truck gigs were always like, ropey equipment, ropey stage. You know what I mean? That kind of gig. We did one of them on the main street of Kells on the back of a truck, and Podge got off the stage. This is brilliant though. This is like shit gig. This is great. He got off the stage, got in a got at the top of the road, and got them to give him a lift. Were you hanging out the side of the door and they were like beeping their horn? It could drive all the way up the street.
It could have went so badly wrong. It was lashing rain, and I think I was wearing like a fake furry cow print waistcoat or something terrible like that. And but the funniest bit is it was some poor Asian chap in like a little nice. I'm pretty certain he, like, when I got up to him, he didn't have a clue what was going on, because he didn't probably even know there was a gig up ahead. So there was that far down the road. I just laid this down the road. Luckily, the band sometimes did this jam, and then if I kind of went miss and didn't know, I had to just do a jam to kind of keep the time or whatever.
And there's absolutely no explaining yourself to that man. Like, I'm with Hamsandwich. What?
Yeah.
You're what?
Yeah.
But I was legging it up towards
spin around there. I'm with the band.
I was legging up towards the front of his car, and I was kind of like putting the sort of hand out as if to say, like, slow down.
I'm about to steal your car. Yeah.
So he opened up the window a little bit, and I was like, "Can you just give me a quick spin up towards that crowd there?" And he was like terrified. And I was like, I didn't get into the car. I was like hanging out the side. It was there.
Kels will do that to a man.
Still to this day, I can guarantee you that man tells that story, and he has no fucking idea what happened. I'm not going to do the accent because that could get us in a lot of trouble. But that guy still tells that to this day, and no idea what happened. So far,
I never ever think about him. I should.
You should maybe.
In fairness, Kel's accent is hard to pull off, Tom.
Yeah, right. No, to be fair, he does not live in Kells anymore after that incident. He moved straight back. I guarantee you. But Niamh, surely you've dropped the band in at some place.
Can't all be Podge.
I've definitely had gigs where like I've been a little bit too tipsy and forgotten words and stuff. Like I have my lyrics in a book in front of me for gigs now.
Right.
Yeah, because I've forgotten the words a good few times at gigs over the years, and the feeling you get when you forget, because it's literally the only fucking thing I need to do is remember the words. Like that's all you got to do. Don't need to play guitar. Like don't need to play the drums. But I just need to follow the rhythm and remember the words. Like, so it freaks me out, and it's happened a few times. I specifically remember a time in Copperface Jacks where I forgot the lyrics to Never Talk, which is one of our oldest songs, and my head went completely blank. I remember looking at Darcy's girlfriend Sally in the crowd, and she was like looking at me going, oh my God, Niamh's forgotten the words, and she was trying to like mouth the words to me. I was just like, no, it's gone. It just completely went. So that
what's the answer to the audience when they're all singing along? And you know, is that your Robbie Williams moment where you hold the microphone out to them and going,
yeah,
finish it off their kids?
Nobody in Copperface Jacks knew who we were anyway.
Sally, to be fair, you weren't wearing GA jerseys.
I was left on my own there, like. So yeah, so ever since those kind of shows, I have all the words for all the Hamsandwich songs in my little book, and I bring it on stage with me.
Well, would you believe one of the gigs that we went to see was Joan Rivers in Vicar Street, and she had her entire set list written on massive cards, like 8 A4 cards, the whole thing written in big black magic marker, line for line, word for word, the length and breadth of the stage. But like, she was 75 at the time, Niamh. Like, I don't know what your excuse is.
Yeah, well, I'm old. I am a bit older. Like, I'm not 20 anymore. Like, my brain's not right.
It's funny, it's a gig we never really have done. We could probably count on one hand how many matinee type shows we've done.
Yeah,
and they always, no matter what, there's an air of caution the whole time. Like there's young kids, and you're kind of like, how far can we take this? What sort of a band we have to morph slightly into a way more PC version, and because of that, I think the nerves of that always catches us out, and we sometimes were worse. Like we're the panic of, like, there was 2 incidents. There was one where we were doing this 2FM tour years ago, and I think it was the very last night or the very last day in the village. It was like 11 nights on the trot, and we weren't really used to that at the time, so it was kind of taking its toll. And on the last day, I was roasting, and I was like dying it was just too much carry on for 11 nights. And so we were playing away, and around halfway through the gig, there was loads of kids. Like, it was a matinee show, and I was like, geez, I'm roasting. And I said on the mic, I was like, blow me. I meant to say, like, blow on me, like, cool me down.
And he was pointing at the kids in the front row, and he was like, oh, blow me. And we were all looking at him going, what?
Getting all Jimmy Savile. But
oh my God, I mean, like,
there was another one. This is kind of my Brezzy one, but you'd have to be there to really witness us how horrendous it was. But it's funny, I can't remember ever postponing or cancelling a gig due to like illness. We've been lucky that way. Even if we're dying sick, we'll plow on. Sorry. But we did another gig. I remember supporting, I think we were playing with De Laurentiis or something in Whelan's, and it was a really nice day. Ooh. And it was daytime, and I think that the roof and the venue clear, so like usually cover that in the day, but there was a nice brightness coming in. So unfortunately, it was quite bright. It was packed, and I was dying of a flu, but I was like kind of leaping around the place. And at one point, I'm not joking you, a string of snot like came out of my nose around that long, like on one of the kind of like that. And I was like, shit, how did I get rid of this? Like,
and it's swinging back and forth like Tarzan out of your face.
It was horrendous. It was disgusting. Like, so fucking hell. I was trying to figure out what. Surely some of the kids saw that and it was like the greatest thing that ever did.
I mean, it's a pity that wasn't the night you were wearing the toilet roll suit.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Oh, that's absolutely fantastic. We've had bodily. I mean, in all fairness, everybody else in Ham Sandwich seems to keep themselves together. Podge, you must be an unbelievable guitar player to say that you haven't been handed, or is it just for the entertainment value? You bring Podge along, Niamh. You never fully know what's going to happen.
I know he's a great guitar player, but also, yes, you never know what he's going to come out with. Like Podge's banter on stage is absolutely brilliant. Like he'll just turn it on when he gets on stage and just have me in stitches and has the audience in stitches.
Not
some
always.
Of the stuff he comes out with. No. Some of the stuff can be a little bit like, oh, that's a bit far.
My style is just keep on throwing shit at the fan, and it's a lot of designing shit.
I'm checking my worst gig ever bingo card over here, Tom, and we've got bodily fluids, too drunk to stand up on stage, forgot the words, van stuck in muck at a festival when we're trying to get to a ferry. Like we're coming pretty close to a full house here, lad.
We terrified a poor Asian chap in the middle of Kells.
Terrified a poor Asian chap in Kells.
Yeah.
And indicted a shower from Carrick McCross in the mix.
Yeah.
That's been an absolutely fantastic combo of stuff. Brilliant. Thank you very much, Ham Sandwich. Dare I ask, is there something on the horizon? Are you please tell me there's something coming.
The letting you gig.
We're bringing out some new music.
Brilliant.
So we're in the studio this weekend. Actually, we're recording vocals for the tracks, and hopefully we're going to have a single out by the end of September, start of October, and then hopefully an album before the end of the year.
Deadly. That is rock. That's literally class. Rock and roll. Well, I'll tell you what we'll do. Everybody listen in. I'm going to throw up everybody's socials on air socials. If you're looking for your ham sandwich fix, you'll know where to get it. Other than that, Niamh and Podge from Ham Sandwich, thank you very much for giving us your worst gigs ever.
Thanks a
million.
Thanks
for having us. Cheers.
Thanks, gang.
Another delicious ham sandwich, Tom.
Oh, lovely. The whole way through it, to be honest with you, I was all the time tempted to go, it's ham sandwich. Where is the ham sandwich? But I didn't. I'm definitely going in now to make a ham sandwich after.
Because we're professionals, Tom. I mean, I do remember the early days of the Tom and Jerry show. You and me sat and ate a bowl of ham, lips smacking. Just a bowl of ham. You remember that? Throughout the whole episode, we're just like, nom, 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 nom. That was the professionality of Tom and Jerry season 2.
Was that season 2? Was it?
Come a long way, baby. Any rate, big thanks to Niamh Farrell, Podge McNamee, and the third band member Brian Darcy couldn't join us today.
Couldn't be bothered. Yeah, I actually heard.
Couldn't be bothered.
Well, they said he's a bit of a fancy dancer, so he's probably off, changing the tires on his Bugatti or buying a Rolex or something. So.
Yeah, well, that's them ham sandwich royalties,
I get it. I absolutely get it. Thank you very, very much. A couple of cracking stories there. Podge absolutely hung himself out to dry. All I know now is that I really want to go to a ham sandwich concert after this, because God knows what might actually happen. Fair fucking play.
Absolutely. Jesus, I tell you, once we get out of the thick of this goddamn pandemic we're in, Tom, I'm going to go to every available concert I can. But in the meantime, when you can't go to fuck all concerts, you know what you can do? You can listen to podcasts, such as the wonderful Tom and Jerry Show. New episode coming on Monday. Season 6 rolls on, and we've got an absolutely fucking stomping episode. If you've been enjoying the series so far, you're going to love what we've got for you on Monday, and you can keep in touch with all that on our social media channels at Tom and Jerry Show. Jerry with a G, Tom with a T. We'll get you pretty much anywhere you can find us on Instagram or on Twitter. If you're looking at either of us, I'm at Jerry McBride. He's at Tom_Romani on Twitter. You'll find us. And what else can they do for us, Tom?
Just rate us. And rate us well. You know what I mean? If you're not overly bothered. Now, in a lot of podcast apps, you can't actually do it, but I think you can do it on Apple. It helps other people find it. So far, we're absolutely rock solid at 5 stars. Class. Leave us a little comment. That'd be cool too. Or if you can't do that, just screen grab while listening and just tag us in it. Tell us something class. So at least we know you're out there, because it's nice to keep touch. Also, because season 6 has been so immersive in whatnot when it comes to it, a lot of people in contact over the 2 Fred Dibnahs. A lot of people heavily into Fred Dibnahs. We got tattoo pictures sent to us of Fred Dibnah. Also, when it came to the last meals, people giving. Feel free to keep them coming. Keep them coming.
Yeah.
Go as wild and the reasoning behind it and all the rest of it. Please do.
Yeah, we want to hear it. We've given you all the rationales you need to let us know what your last meal would be. Then where else can they find us, Tom? They can find us on Stitcher, Apple Podcasts,
pretty much,
Spotify,
whatever that
YouTube.
For the most part, if you're listening to us right now, you're probably on a podcast app that you like. Hit subscribe there. Realistically, you won't go wrong. We'll arrive in at some stage either on a Monday or some stage on a Thursday. It'll land on your phone. Just make sure and hit subscribe if this is your first time tuning in because you were a Ham Sandwich fan. You just popped up and went, are they on with Tom and Jerry? Who the hell are these guys? Hit subscribe. We've got rakes. And if you've got some free time, have a gander. We're in season 6. So guess what that means? There's 5 more previous seasons to go back and listen to the evolution of these two
absolutely go all the way back to season 1. See how little of it stands up to today's standards.
It's all right. Okay, it's evergreen, Jar. It's evergreen. We've kept it evergreen. If not, at least we tell some horrendous stories of gigging, just like today's worst gig ever. So that was us. That's it. That was Ham Sandwich. Let's hit the road, Jar.